Morning. All right. So before I get into what I have to say, I need to fix some settings on my channel. So give me 2 seconds to do that. But first of all, I hope you are having a fantabulous day. Let me go and fix these settings. Now, if you missed yesterday's live broadcast, I am going to post that link down in the description when I'm done with this one. All right. So while I'm doing this, first thing that I want to make sure you do is subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Why? Because, hey, I only have 800 videos that show you how to do credit repair, credit sweeps, remove negative items the right way. Okay. And I don't want for you to miss anything. All right. And I see how many people watch my videos, but the specific percentage that doesn't subscribe. So it's literally a button that can change everything for you. So smash it. All right. We are talking about the biggest misconception about credit repair and credit sweeps. And why is this important? Well, it's important because you need to know it. Okay. I did a seminar last night at 7 o'clock locally here in New York. And the question that came up the most was, why does credit repair take so long? Well, and we're going to try to do this without my assistant waking up, meaning my 4-year-old. So hopefully I don't have to end this early. So here's the deal. There's a huge misconception on how this works, the process, what goes into it. And understanding these things can literally be the difference between, you getting things removed from your credit report and them staying on there up to the statute of limitations, right? And just so you know, because this was another thing that came up last night, the statute of limitations is 7.5 years, unless it's a bankruptcy or there's other there's other stipulations. But the statute of limitations for your state has to do with how long they can come after you in court. It has nothing to do with credit reporting. Credit reporting is 7.5 years. So would you rather remove your negative items in a respectable, reasonable period of time, or would you rather wait 7.5 years? Well, simple math. I think I would rather do this the right way the first time than screw it up, send about a bunch of templates and get rejected and all of that, just because I didn't understand the difference between credit repair, credit sweeps, the process, who the bureaus are, what they're actually there for. Did you know that the bureaus are not in the business of fixing your credit and removing these things from your credit report? No, they're nothing but a complaints department. Okay. That's something that you need to keep at the forefront of your mind, that they're in the data business. They obtain, maintain, and sell your information, my information. Experian alone is 235 million consumers or whatever, and a bunch of other millions of businesses. That's the business that they're in. So when you send a dispute, it's nothing but an inconvenience to them, and they don't want to deal with it. So the biggest misconception for credit repair and credit sweeps is thinking that, number one, this is just going to be a walk in the park. I am obligated, or they are obligated, to give me my deletions, and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. Many consumers, millions of consumers, do not ever remove anything from their credit report. Why? Well, so glad you asked, because they're not doing it the right way. They think that it's nothing but sending out a couple of disputes, and this is the same disputes that the bureaus get 1.5 million times per month per bureau. Like, don't you think that it's much more profitable for them to just ignore you than to spend $765,000? Now it's even more, that postage has gone up, than to respond to you? Just looking at it from a business standpoint, I would personally keep that money, just ignore you, and eventually you're going to go away because you're going to get frustrated. You're going to give up. You're going to throw your hands up in defeat, and you're going to say, screw this. I don't want to do this. I'm going to figure out something else. Like, I'm going to get a cosigner. I'm going to whatever, right? And you're just going to walk away, because there's not many people who are going to stand at that door knocking when no one's opening that door. If you want to succeed, if you want to remove your negative items, you got to be that dude, that chick standing at that door pounding until someone opens. And how do you do that? Well, you need to understand exactly what it is that you should be saying, what you shouldn't be doing, how you should be doing, when you should be doing, with whom you should be doing. And I show you these things right here on my channel. It's not that difficult, okay? All right, so the biggest thing that came up last night, like I said, was this misconception that the bureaus are required to remove these things from someone's credit report. So instead of asking, why does credit repair or credit sweeps take so long? The question should be, can these come off at all, right? Can my charge off, can my collection, can my late payments, can my inquiries come off at all? And the answer to that is yes, when it's done the right way, when you're not sending out templates, when you're not spitting out these stupid letters that the bureaus get 1.5 million times. What are you doing to stand outside of all these letters that they get over and over and over again? What are you doing that is unique? What are you doing that is targeted and specific to your information? Well, if you are doing factual custom disputes, then what you are sending in has never been received before, right? And that is when you are going to be able to get results, right? So how do you do this? Well, it's understanding, like I said, how something should be reported. If you know that, the date last reported is required to be updated when the bureaus verify as accurate, that's going to get you farther. If you know that the notice of dispute is supposed to be there within 30 days from the date that they first receive your dispute or not, it's going to be a violation. That's going to get you further. If you know that it shouldn't say charge off in the payment history, otherwise it's inaccurate, then that's going to get you further. If you don't know how these things are supposed to be reported, then you're just thinking that factual disputes is nothing more than comparing a bunch of, inaccuracies. No, it's not that. You need to know what is more important than what. Why the date last active is, much more important than disputing the open date. Why the notice of dispute matters. Why the date last reported matters. Why the date last paid matters. All right. When you know these things, you know exactly how these puzzle pieces will fit, and you'll be able to get those results. And again, this is exactly what I show you right here on my channel, right? So what I want for you to do is to stop sending out these 609s. Stop sending out these stupid letters that say, pursuant to this, Congress says that, Cushman versus. No. Your letter should literally be nothing more than your personal information at the top, right? If I already had an app open, I would share my screen and I would show you how simple it is to write a dispute. Actually, you know what? Maybe we can do that. You know what? This is a brand new gaming laptop. So no, and I don't use it for gaming. It's just a really good laptop. And I don't have the apps that I need installed. Otherwise, I would show you. I was going to. But anyways, personal information at the top, the date, the bureau you are writing to, or the collector or whoever, right? Let's keep it on the bureaus. Your one paragraph or like 3 sentences, no more, saying why you are sending this letter, right? And then your disputed accounts. And with your disputed accounts, you should say, whoever it is, capital 1, account number 517805, and your dispute reason. What goes into your dispute reason? Well, it's the AJERO formula, right? AJERO, action, justifier, element, reason, outcome. What the hell does that mean? Well, I'm again so glad that you asked. This is where you are compiling your dispute reason and plugging in those facts, because I told you a long time ago, if you've been following me for the 8 years that I've been here on YouTube, you would know that all you're doing is plugging these data pieces from your credit report into this dispute reason, and that is it. It's going to say capital 1, 517805, delete for inaccuracy because the date last active reports as date. That's it. That is it. That is it. There's no threats in there. There's no I'm taking you to court. There's none of that stuff. You need to leave that for somewhere else, for when you get, in trouble and you need to write like a, complaint response, whatever. That does not belong with this. Remember, it's what you can prove, and the proof is on your credit report. And that is why we use this. That is why I take screenshots, and this has been something huge in the comments recently, screenshots of the accounts that I'm disputing, and I'm using them as exhibits, exhibit A, exhibit B, exhibit C. So now when you're writing your dispute, it's going to say capital 1, 517805, delete for inaccuracy because the date last reported or date last active reports as date, exhibit A. And then at the end of the letter, and when it says, thank you, consumer name, below that, we're going to have our exhibits. Exhibit A, screenshot. Exhibit B, screenshot. Exhibit C, screenshot. So on and so forth, right? I mean, that's common sense. Now, another thing is you need to make sure you are sending in a copy of your ID and a proof of address dated within the last 90 days. If you're not doing this, it's going to be rejected. Okay. This is already more as difficult as it possibly can be, especially right now, July 2022. It is extremely, extremely difficult. It has only gotten more difficult over the past 2 years. So why are you going to make it easier on the bureaus to reject you and harder on yourself to get these results? Because remember, it doesn't matter that they're required to respond within 30 days. What are you going to do about it to make them be held liable for this? It doesn't matter that they're required to do anything. They take these things, these laws as guidelines. We're talking about federal laws, yes, but it's consumer law, right? Again, no one's going to jail. No one's getting in trouble. No one's losing their job. They probably high five each other when they get rid of you. And you need to be, again, that person knocking on that door, not going away. So how do we get around this conception, this misconception that we're obligated to these results? Well, it's, again, understanding that we're not. If you don't dispute the right way, these things are not coming off. Okay. And, like I said, I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to wait 7.5 years for a late payment to come off. I'm not trying to wait 7.5 years for a charge off to come off. I'm not trying to wait 10 years for a bankruptcy to come off. So when you are asking someone, why does it take so long to fix, these accounts, you need to be asking, is it possible? Is it possible to remove my XYZ? When can it possibly come off, right? This isn't a buffet where you go in and you're like, oh, I'll take a little bit of that spinach. I'll take a little bit of those noodles. I'll take a little bit of that. No, it is what it is, dude. You can't just come up with this, your own program in your head and then go to someone and be like, this is what I want. No, you need to be like, hey, this is what I have. I have 4 collections. I have a charge off, blah, blah, blah. And I need to know, is it possible for me to remove these from my credit report? If the answer is yes, how is it that you're doing it? These are the questions that you need to be asking a credit repair company when you go to them. Okay. Speaking of which, if you do want to fix your credit the right way, there's a very simple thing that you can do. 1, you can check out my 800 videos. 2, you can check out my free resources like at hub.hub.my740.com. Number 3, you can see if I can do this for you by scheduling a call with me at my740.com. All right. Another thing is I have apps and I have software and I have downloads and I've got courses and I've got video courses. I've got everything that you could possibly need to be able to fix your credit the right way, because I was a consumer. I had the bad credit. I had the bankruptcy. I had the 450 collections. I had all these different things. And I had to figure out how to do this myself because these companies were not doing what they were supposed to. They weren't giving copies of the disputes. They weren't doing all the negative items at the same time. They weren't doing all 3 bureaus at the same time. They weren't showing anything that they were doing. They weren't explaining the process. And so I had to figure out there's got to be a different way. There's got to be a better way that I can do this myself. And then when I did, I realized, hey, you know what? I could probably do this for other people. And then, obviously I learned how to do it. I got certified. I got my doctorate. I've got a PhD in finance and all this other kind of stuff so that I can help you to do this the right way. So I don't come on here to just talk. I come on here to help you fix what it was that you've done in the past and to not do it again in the future, right? So the question that we should be really answering is, what do we do from here? What happens if you've already disputed the wrong way? What happens if you already disputed online and you gave up your rights? What happens if you already went to companies or a company who, you have no idea what they did because they didn't give you the copies of the disputes, because I'm one of the only ones that'll give it to you. So if you're not my client, you're not seeing what's going on, right? What do you do if you've gone through all this stuff? Is there still a chance that you can remove these? And the answer to this is yes, yes, yes. But you need to take the time and then either invest in yourself or invest in someone doing it the right way, because the longer you dispute, the harder it is for you to get these things off your credit report. So, I mean, if you're going from company A to company B to company C to company D to company, dude, the only person who is being affected by this is you. The only person who's not going to get these things off is you. The only person who's not going to have a better interest rate is you. The only person who's going to be spending more on their insurance and, whatever the APR is you. It's you. So why don't we take a step back and look at what it is that we can do? Like, pause here. Let's just stop everything that we're doing and say, you know what? This process is frustrating. Yeah, the bureaus are ignoring me, or they're just, coming back and saying that it's verified when I know that no investigation has done. What can I do right now that's going to allow me to prosper? That's going to allow me to remove these things. And again, the answer is disputing the right way. Everything comes down to the words that you put in that letter. Okay. So now a lot of people wonder, what's the difference between a simple letter with facts and a letter that says, I demand that you do this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah? Well, dude, you're not going to threaten them. They're not worried about your, according to section blah, 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 and blah, blah. They don't care about that. They have dude, the process is like, and I wish I had it on my PC, or excuse me, my laptop, because I would show you right now. The process is really simple. Your letter is opened not by a person, but by a machine. It gets fed into another machine, which then reads the letter and attempts to basically match it to other letters, right? Millions and millions of letters in their databases, right? Because remember, they get 1.5 million letters per month per bureau. So that's a lot of letters. And it's like the college system where it's trying to see if there's plagiarism. But in this case, where they're looking for partial or full matches. So if you sent out a letter that you bought online and it, you didn't go and just use it as a baseline and then write your own letter, then it's going to match it to that letter. And probably that letter was a match to another letter and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Automatically verified, no investigation. They come back and they say, oh, Mr. Consumer, Mrs. Consumer, Miss Consumer, I'm sorry, but it has been verified as accurate. The creditor or the data furnisher has certified this to be true. And that's the end of it, right? Now, what happens if when they read that letter, there is no match? There's no match because you wrote it right then based off the facts on your credit report. And these facts support your argument, right? Now it's going to go in the system. It doesn't matter if it goes to a human or if it goes into Oscar. It's going to literally be the exact same outcome, okay? They take your entire dispute, capital 1, 517-805, delete for inaccuracy because the date last active report says date. They take that entire thing and convert it into a 2 to 3 digit code and send it over electronically. They're not calling Capital One and saying, hey, person at Capital One, well, John Smith says that the date last active is 3 different dates. So why don't you just go and remove it? No. Obviously, we want to get it to a human who then can see this error themselves and fix it. But otherwise, it's going to go to the same place, the same people, the same process, right? So why would you want to first just get rejected instead of going through the process and having it just be completed because, you wrote everything the way that you were supposed to? You gave yourself the best possible outcome, best possible chance to remove these. Well, I would have to say that if I knew that I was going to be giving up either my rights or I was going to be giving up all this time or I was going to be paying for nothing or whatever, that I would make sure that when that letter went out the door, it was exactly as it should have been from the beginning, okay? Every single letter sets you back. Every single word can set you back. Every single letter that goes out that door better be the best possible letter that you could have ever written. You need to pretend that you are doing this from an investigator's point of view. You need to pretend that this is a life or death type of thing, because in a lot of cases it is. It can be the difference between someone being homeless and having an apartment. It can be the difference between someone having, to take the bus and driving a car. It can be the difference between people putting food on the table and feeding their kids and going hungry. I saw this during the pandemic, dude. I saw this during the pandemic. We were in Las Vegas. We lived in a very, 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 very nice area. And guess what? There was a line by the high school with like 50 cars waiting for food because they couldn't pay for their mortgages. They couldn't pay for their, their cars, and they couldn't pay for all this stuff. And it all had to do with credit reporting. And then now their other creditors knew about it. And, then they were closing the cards and people were having their limits dropped and all this. It all has to do with a big ass circle that goes back to your credit. So give yourself the best possible chance. Give yourself that opportunity to make a first impression, but for the second time, right? A chance to make an impression for the second time. Okay. So what do we do right now? What do we do right now? And that's my that's my assistant number one. Assistant number two is still asleep. What we do is go back, like I said, pause right here, go back and learn how to do this the right way so that when you are ready and you do put that letter out, you know that it's going to give you that result. It might not be on that first round. It might not be the second round. It might not be the third round, but it is going to happen. So if you are ready to say enough is enough, today's the day, I'm ready to say enough with the bullshit, either go back and visit my videos or schedule a call with me and I will see if I can help, right? But right now I'm going to put some links because I'm going to be done because assistant number two is now awake. He just walked behind me somewhere. I'm going to go and I'm going to put the links in the description, but today, we talked about the biggest misconception with credit repair and credit sweeps, and that is, number one, that it's going to be fast and it's guaranteed and all of that stuff. And number two, that you're obligated to these deletions. You are not. You are not obligated to these deletions. All right. The only way you're going to get them is if you do it the right way. And the right way is not using templates. It's not disputing online. It's not sending out police reports and everything. And if you go and do your research, I'm not going to name any names, but I'm going to make a video about this because I've been telling you guys for 8 years now, do not use identity theft if you are not a victim of identity theft. Go and look it up. I will say Houston, Texas, I believe it was. Someone was, as a credit repair business owner, was running this big ass thing where they were getting results by doing false police reports. Like I've been telling you this entire time, do not do that. You will go to jail as a business owner, okay? And number two, as a consumer, you could do 6 months in jail for fraud, okay? All of these things back up everything that I've been telling you for 8 years. So take what I tell you, not as me yelling at you, not as me trying to, do anything other than help you because you are the only one that benefits from this. I don't get a kickback from your credit cards. I don't get a kickback from, your house loan. I don't get a kickback from anything. I barely even get, a like or a comment or whatever when you go and you get these things because of the stuff that I've taught you, okay, or that I did for you. So the only person that can possibly benefit from this is you. So heed the words that I tell you. There's no 14-day process. There's no 60-day process. There's no 90-day process. This is the shortcut. And if you're taking all these other shortcuts, the only place you're going to end up is the exact same place that you started, except for now you're going to be out money, now you're going to be out time, and it's going to be much more difficult to get these things removed from your credit report, okay? It is that important, okay? I didn't spend 12 years, to get to this point to tell you a bunch of bullshit. No, dude, I had to fail a bunch of time. I had to go through a bunch of bullshit. I had way more failures than I had successes. All right. So it's not like where you're just going to watch one video and all of a sudden figure it out, figure out exactly what you need to do. No, it's going to take you some time. And that is why it's so important to do this, because we only have a few chances. We only have a few chances. So I don't know. I don't want to start rambling, so I think I'm going to end it here because I don't want a little naked guy to end up behind me. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. So even though it is blurry behind me, you can see my painting if I go like this. Anyways, I think that is going to be it for today. But if you need to know something specifically, drop it as a comment on any of my videos. I might include it as either something in one of my videos, or I might make an entire video about it. I can't be a mind reader. I don't know what it is specifically that you're needing assistance with all the time, but that is why we have the comment section. And yes, I turn off the chat for my lives because there's certain things that I need to say. I don't have a lot of time. I do these and my videos between my calls, between my client files, and of course, between between being a mom and a wife. All right. So I don't have a lot of time. So it would help me out if you told me the specific things that you need assistance with. All right. Another thing is very, very, very soon, I am going to be launching basically a course site that has everything I have ever created that I charged for, except for things that you have to pay, monthly on, such as the credit suite. That's not going to be included, but everything else will be included in it because a couple of weeks ago I had ran a 5-day never again sale on all of it. But there were a lot of people that couldn't afford it, and so I'm going to create a monthly option and have all of it inside of there. So and anything that I create in the future is also going to go in there, but I'm not going to increase the price. So that is going to be coming out soon. I have a ton of projects in the works for you. Like, I'm actually working on a project right now. And you know what? I am going to share my screen just to show you what I'm talking about. I am currently editing a video that took us 4 days to record. And let's do a screen share just so you can see what I'm talking about. So it's not just where you know, shoot a video on blah, blah, blah. Like, you have no idea what goes into creating videos. Like, see, I am currently editing a video. Excuse me. I'm currently editing a video that we shot in front of my house. And yeah, it took us 4 days to record. And let me just stop the screen share. Took us 4 days to record it. And it's taken me 3 days to edit it. And I still have that long ass clip at the end where I drive away. So, a lot of people don't realize how much goes into creating content. As I said, and as you can see, I have 800 videos that go way, way back. And each of those 800 videos not only took me the time to plan them out and then record them and then edit them and then post them and create the thumbnails and create, the captions and to create the transcripts and then to promote them and all of that stuff. It can literally take me 4 hours to record something that only turns out to be 10 to 20 minutes. I mean, a lot goes into this, and I do it to help you. Okay. So, I guess I'm going to end that there because now I'm talking about 50 different things and nobody wants to hear that shit. So I will see you later. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, if you were just joining me right now, we talked about the biggest misconceptions with our biggest misconception. I can't talk right now. Biggest misconception about credit repair and credit sweeps and the real truth that you need to know about it. And why do we do that? Well, so that you can do this the right way, move on with your life, and never have to deal with this shit ever again. Because who wants to be fixing their credit? I didn't want to fix my credit. I didn't want to do any of that shit. But when I did, dude, I had money in my wallet. I wasn't living with my parents anymore. You know what I mean? That bankruptcy was gone. All my medical collections were gone. I had a totally different life, and it took me a long time to build it up. But when I did, I got my shit together. You have to look at how long it took you to initially build your credit, how long it took you to screw it up, how long you waited after that to do anything. And then you need to take just a fraction of that time and put it into fixing your credit the right way. So the only person who can answer how long you are willing to put into that is you. So I'm going to see you later. I hope you have a great day. And I'm going to stop rambling now and get to my call. All right. So I will see you later.